More about the terror attacks on France is Stephen Rogers. He's a former member of the FBI National Joint Task Force, Terrorism Task Force. Nice to have you here again. So a couple of moving parts that we need to get our viewers up to date about. The wife of one of the suspects that held people hostage in that deli. She is still at large, and she's a person of great interest. Tell us why.
This was a planned military-style operation. These were not lone wolves. They no doubt did reconnaissance. They executed their plan, and now this individual is so important because we don't know who she's connected to. ISIS first claimed the responsibility for attack, then Al-Qaeda, but capturing her alive is of the utmost importance to law enforcement.
The intel that she would be able to share.
The intel that she would be able to share would be tremendous if they could get her alive.
Now let's talk about the idea that we don't know exactly who was behind the attack in France, because of course you had Al-Qaeda initially take responsibility, then of course that video came out of the deli suspect, that man who is now dead, saying he pledges allegiance to ISIS. So what does all this mean, especially in light of this threat, this renewed threat that they put out there saying civilians and police officers are at risk?
You bring up a good point. There's a lot of questions that aren't answered, but what we have to do as a country, the President of the United States has to recognize what this is and address the nation that it's Islamic terrorism, number one. Number two, we need to strengthen our intelligence gathering capabilities worldwide. He's got to stop releasing these prisoners from Gitmo, and more importantly, we've got to get to the Muslim community. Look, we don't want to see any backlash, but a lot of good Muslims in this country who are American citizens, we need their help to reach their youth, to reach their young people, and let them know, look, all that's going on here is wrong. We've got to understand that we're all Americans and we're in this together.
Let's talk about the sleeper cells, because Senator Dianne Feinstein came out and was talking about sleeper cells that are possibly here. And obviously you're alluding to that. And the threat of another attack here in America. It's a very real thing, especially when they re-released that video. And you could see how ISIS is targeting these people who are on the fringe.
Well, you're exactly right. Look, I tended to believe years ago that there were a lot of lone wolves ready to react to whatever went on. But now, what this attack in Paris shows us is that there's training going on. There is training, there is reconnaissance. These people know what they're doing. They're a clear and present danger to the United States.
So really, we have multiple threats. We have to worry about these guys that are being trained, and on top of that, you have the lone wolves that are out there that are waiting for any kind of thing that can be kind of pushed into.
Well, that's right, and this is why intelligence is so important. The NYPD, the best police department on the face of the earth, they're dispatching officers to capitals around the world to gather as much intelligence as they could to prevent an attack here.
You know, a lot of people are saying, you know, why were these guys tailed, these two brothers? They, in fact, were. French officials say they were tailed for quite some time, but then it got so costly. What is it about the cost effectiveness, or what's inhibiting people from being followed more? I think that's what people need to know.
They need to know that, yes, it's costly, but what's more of a cost? The lives of our citizens or the money they have to put out for this? So they need to truly use a multifaceted approach from the federal government to local government levels to combat this.
It's back to the same theory that we were post 9/11. If you see something, say something. It's really important. It's that severe and that dire.
The American people are the most important intelligence gathering apparatus we have. You're right. See something, say something.
All right, Steve, it's always a pleasure when you come in. Give us your insights. For more information on the terror attacks in France, of course, stay with us here on PIX11.